So we are finishing up our study on Esther this week, and we're going to be reading Esther chapter 9 and Esther chapter 10. And in these two chapters, we see how the king makes the way for the Jews to defend themselves, and really this is God stepping in through Esther, making sure that his people are saved and their lineage is preserved. And there's a festival that takes place in the month of March in our modern day calendar that is established during these two chapters and is celebrated every year forward for the Jews, called Purim, and it's where they remember how God delivered them. What I'd like us to look at and maybe reflect on this week is the principle and the importance of remembering what God has done in our past and celebrating it in our present. When we look at our present, especially over this past year, it's been easy for us to say, well, God hasn't been faithful because, well, my family member got sick, or I lost my job, or I'm dealing with this situation. There's all kinds of things that we can point at and look to and say, this is why I don't think God is faithful. The festival of Purim was to be celebrated for centuries to come after we read this story in Esther 9 and 10, so that people would be reminded, regardless of what you face today, God has been faithful, and we can remember that He will continue to be faithful. So when you're leaving comments and sharing stories, maybe there's a story that you can share about how God has been faithful to you in the past and how that has kept you on mission and kept you being faithful to Him in your present. And maybe we can even encourage each other about things that we're facing right now. It's stuff like the festival of Purim and other ways that God has been faithful that keeps us faithful in the present. Can't wait to hear how God has been faithful in your life, so let's make sure we're sharing and participating in the conversation as we finish off the book of Esther.